Hello, my friends. Hello, welcome to another live. Okay, by the way, last week I came on live and I was supposed to co-host the live with a friend of mine, another wedding planner, and we were gonna talk about this live summit that's happening this week for wedding planners and this education, and for some reason I just couldn't get her on here. So if you tuned in, and I think I got a comment that was like, I came to your live, or no, if someone's like, I'm sorry I missed your live, don't worry, you essentially, it was like 3 minutes, my live on YouTube was 3 minutes long, and then we moved over to Instagram because we knew we could make it work over there. So you did not miss a live last week. I ended up deleting the 3 minutes because it was just me and her, me trying to figure out why she wasn't coming on and all that kind of stuff. So you didn't miss much. This week, let me turn a light on here. Is that nicer? Maybe a little nicer. This week, I thought we would chat about some wedding planning CRMs. So I'm deep into it right now because I recently moved from AislePlanner. If you're a wedding professional or specifically a wedding planner, you know what AislePlanner is, and it has its pros and cons. And I just did a long form video on a tutorial of AislePlanner, and we're phasing it out essentially, and we are going over to Notion, which is a productivity app. It's not designed for wedding planners, but it's growing and it's like super customizable. So we had someone build our own like dashboard on Notion so that we can customize it how we want. There's pros and cons to kind of all of that. And I also have, sorry, I'm like moving you around a little bit. I also have experience with HoneyBook, which was something we used for a while, but it was lacking some stuff. And then we also use rock, paper, coin for contracts, all that kind of like very different things for different needs. And it just feels like there's nothing out there that's really perfect yet for wedding planners. And I'm curious to know if wedding planners, if you have something that's like incredible that I maybe don't know about. I was literally Googling all the CRMs that people, for wedding pros that people use. So obviously there's like Triple Seat is something that I see a lot in caterers and mostly caterers. And there is a little bit of Triple Seat that drives me crazy as a wedding planner. I'm working with a venue right now that does all their communication through Triple Seat, and it comes in as an email. And then there's like a dotted line, and in small text it says, if you're replying to all of these people, but it looks like you're just replying to one person. And if you make the mistake of replying to that email thinking you're just replying to the one person that sent you, and you're wanting to have like a sidebar conversation about, I don't know, the couple or someone else that's on the thread, everybody gets that email. And I hate it. I really don't like the way Triple Seat communicates. So I have not looked at the Triple Seat like management side of their stuff. I'm curious if anybody uses that for wedding planning. It looks like it's particularly popular with venues and caterers. So curious about your thoughts if anybody uses Triple Seat. Another one, of course, HoneyBook. So let's talk about HoneyBook for a while. There was some major drama at the end of 2024 where HoneyBook announced like this huge rate increase. And I have not had HoneyBook for a couple years now, so I can't tell you what the original rate was, but people were saying it was like doubling perhaps. I was grandfathered into HoneyBook. I was a very, very early user. So if I still log into my account, I don't think I have an annual fee. I think the only thing I pay are the credit card, like merchant fees. If someone makes a payment, there's a percentage that goes to the company, which, by the way, is completely normal and acceptable. I think a lot of people are like, well, I only accept checks because it's free and there's no fees, or I only accept Zelle because there's no fees. But at the same time, for me personally, the convenience of getting paid electronically so fast very much outweighs the fee. You know, the convenience outweighs the small percentage. But all that to say, HoneyBook, what they're really good at is this automation. So they have what are called workflows, and you basically can hook it up as an inquiry form on your website, and then you can once someone inquires, it triggers something. It triggers like an email to send them, and then they can click some stuff, and depending on what they click, it triggers maybe a questionnaire, or your packages get sent directly to them. So like HoneyBook is really good about having all these automations and stuff that makes it easy for a business owner to kind of manage and to be able to step out of that process a little bit. Now, where I think it didn't do so well was it tries to, and again, I haven't been on in a couple years, so I don't know what it looks like on this side of things, and maybe they've gotten rid of it, but they had tried to put like a timeline tab and then some vendor communication things. But that was getting a little annoying because at some point you needed a code. If you're a vendor, you needed to get an email code sent to you, and then the timeline was very kind of bare bones. I really didn't like that. So I was already making all of my wedding, like my day of stuff, so my layouts, my floor plans, all my vendor contact information, that was all happening on AislePlanner, and I was just running my contracts and invoices and that kind of workflow and packages. So like from getting them as a lead to closing the deal, I was running that through HoneyBook for a long time. And that part I think was really great. And again, I'm curious if anybody like what their thoughts were, because I knew there was a huge price increase that happened at the end of last year, and like people in the wedding industry lost their minds about it. Whereas some people whose workflows are so big and so well organized on HoneyBook, they were like, well, I'm like, this works really well for me, price increase or not, I'm staying, you know? So for some people it was like, whatever, doesn't even matter. So that one is kind of universal. Like we were saying, Triple C is more for venues and for caterers, and then HoneyBook can be for anybody, but it gets you just through the contract process, and I wouldn't do any planning on it, you know? So then we have AislePlanner. AislePlanner, again, is the one I just did a tutorial on that on Saturday. What did I say? Monday? Tuesday? Monday. So Saturday, that video went live. And I did a tutorial on that because I think a lot of people with AislePlanner are a little intimidated at like what a beast it is. And it's true, I cannot pinpoint why it doesn't feel user-friendly. It still feels clunky, and their team, like their you know, growth team or whoever, client experience team, has emailed me asking like, why did you leave AislePlanner, and what is it that we can do better? And like part of me is like, I kind of don't really know actually. One of them, the reason I left is the monthly fees. So I have the package that includes 15 events that you can have at one time. So if you're done an event and you archive it, you can create a new one. It all fits in as long as you only have 15 going at once. I want to say it's $59 or $69 a month, maybe 59. That's kind of, well, it's steep, but it's also not steep. But if you think about it for a full year, that's kind of a lot of money. And I realized that the thing was that we were also putting all types of clients on there. So we were putting our wedding management clients, and those clients are a much lower package fee, and we don't give them access to the budget tab. We don't give them access to to design boards. And so to me, it's like, gosh, are we wasting a spot in those 15 to give it to our wedding management couples? And the answer was kind of yes. And also, by the way, I've reduced to 15, but for a long time we had to have the 20 to 25 package, and that was like $90 a month, something like that. So we were like, okay, we're gonna leave AislePlanner. We're gonna have a custom dashboard in Notion. And I was not a Notion user, so this was like a huge learning curve for me. And I can ask my team, it was very much a learning curve for them. And there's still a little bit of confusion on how to best utilize Notion, but it's like uber capable, and it can send notifications. We have a whole checklist where we tag all the tasks and we tag the client. We have our timeline, we have a whole budget tab. The only thing that Notion cannot do right now is a floor plan. That's kind of a big deal. The only reason I'm getting through right now is because, well, some venues are already in charge of the floor plan. So a lot of the venues we're working at, they want to do the floor plan on their end. So, okay, that's fine. B, I can have a free account with Prism. So that's another well, I call it CRM, but it's a software that I would say a lot of wedding planners also use. It's basically designed just for floor plans and guest lists. So Prism used to be called All Seated, and it was you literally just go and create your floor plan. You type in the name of the venue, and they hopefully have some stuff that's uploaded already, and you can use one of their templates, and then you can load in your guest list and start dragging and dropping the names to the seats. So I find Prism / All Seated to be very user friendly. And it's free if you just have 10 events. So that's kind of cool. So if I'm doing my Notion portal where I'm doing all my planning, plus the free template or the free Prism dashboard, my monthly expenses are low. So that was kind of nice, because then I'm also not paying if I have less weddings. Like this year we had less than we have last year. Do we? Well, some of us do. And so it didn't make sense that I had some months where I'm like, okay, well, I only have 5 on my dashboard and I'm paying for a minimum of 15. That was the other thing, is I'm at the lowest possible package on AislePlanner, and I couldn't go lower, and so I'm already paying 60 or 70 bucks a month for that. So I like that. I know some people that really like Timeline Genius. I haven't personally used it, but apparently Timeline Genius is like a very smart timeline creation tool. Again, maybe not a CRM per se, but certainly like a cool software that wedding planners could use. And so that's a good one to check out. They must have a free, let's look. They must have a free trial. Yeah, get started for free. So you can get a 14-day free trial on Timeline Genius, but it looks really cool. They also had partnered, I think they still partner with Rock Paper Coin, which is, you've maybe heard me talk about Rock Paper Coin in some of my past videos. They're the program I use for our contracts and invoices. Yes, I could still use Honeybook, but Rock Paper Coin also brought me in. I was grandfathered in for that program, so I only pay I think it's 2.5% merchant fees, which is lower, I want to say, than Honeybook. And let me see, are they still partnered? Yeah, so they're still partnered with Timeline Genius, and you basically get I don't know. Let's see. Timeline Genius approximately first class integration. I don't know. I have literally not signed up for it, but you get a special discount if you're with Rock Paper Coin and you want to use Timeline Genius. But I have a friend who uses it, and it's like a super smart timeline where I think you kind of can type in like I don't know, first dance, and it maybe recommends some times based off of what you have set up for your ceremony time and your end time. It will know like buffer times between certain things. So like, oh, you have to allow 30 minutes for the bride to get in the dress, or, you know, stuff like that. So I am really curious. I might just play around with it sometime just to see what it's like. But right now my timeline is still on Notion, and it's a very basic, like, times, you know, what time does it start at? I think it says what is happening, and then who and where, or what and where, or no, where and how, maybe, like something like that, and then notes next to it. So if I were to put like 4 p.m. ceremony at the lawn, don't forget to bring welcome champagne. You know, like, that's kind of how I describe it. So yeah, I like that one. I mean, I like a good basic timeline. I don't need anything crazy. It's so fascinating to me to see how planners set up their day of packet. Maybe that's a conversation we should have at some point on one of these lives, is like, when I work for catering companies sometimes. Obviously wedding planning is my main thing, but I work for caterer just in my off season, and I'm service captain, so I have to read documents that planners give me. And sometimes I open these packets and it's like Excel spreadsheets from the 1990s with all sorts of like square, like, there's, you know, borders around certain tables, and then all of a sudden there's like another timeline over here and another timeline over here. I totally do not know how people's brains work on like presenting an Excel spreadsheet on a timeline. Oh my god, my cat is every time. Last week I think we did the live and the cat was scratching at the window. So I am more of like a very linear, this is the time, this is what's happening, this is the time, this is what's happening, and just a consecutive list of events that are happening, even if it's multiple days. Okay, let's see what else Google is saying are popular CRMs. Okay, we talked about HoneyBook. Oh, Dubsado. So I remember Dubsado more as for designers. So I felt like Dubsado was being used as like for invitation people, like designers, branding, that kind of stuff. And I still see it used that way. I have not experienced, I don't think, a Dubsado. Oh my god, Kevin, my guy, your nails on a chalkboard. I haven't experienced a wedding planner using Dubsado, I don't think, but I'm really curious what that would look like. They're also saying Zoho Backstage. I've literally never heard of this in my life. Zoho Backstage, no idea. And then AislePlanner. Like, those are really the top things. I might be one of the only people that's using Notion right now as my my wedding planning dashboard. And like I said, it's good, but it's high on the customization. And so I can't say that it's necessarily the most user-friendly, but it's certainly the most customizable, and for certain people that may make more sense. And I mean, it's more affordable for what we need it, you know, right now. And I can set up a lot of automations. And I'm like just dipping my toe because I did not know how to use Notion before this. So it was like a huge learning curve for me in that sense. I'm looking on Reddit to see if there are any other recommendations for CRMs. HubSpot. Someone's like HubSpot CRM, $50. No, that's gonna be a no. Oh, someone 3 years ago mentioned Notion's a good compromise. Yeah, but HubSpot, I thought that was just a website thing. Maybe not. There are so many things here that I do not. Oh, Monday.com. I have heard of people use Monday, but not in like a wedding planning capacity. Oh, Airtable. I have heard of Airtable being used. I think that's pretty much in debt. Oh, Entreport. Never heard of that in my life. Never. Espo CRM. Literally, people are making this up. I don't think these are real. I mean, maybe these are more like, they might be more like productivity apps, kind of like Trello, Asana. I mean, that's what Notion is, and we just created it into our own dashboard. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. But anyway, I was curious if, I don't think a ton of wedding planners popped on tonight, but I was curious if any, what all CRMs are you guys using? And are you using just one that meets all your needs, or are you needing to combine a few things based off of what you need, like one thing for invoices and contracts like we do, and then one for the actual planning portion? That's kind of where we're at right now. Or is it like, are you doing AislePlanner, and because they do invoices and contracts and planning in the same thing, that is all you need? I mean, I don't blame you. It really is. It really kind of is the only one that I think hits all those boxes, meets all those boxes. But I also like, just didn't, I don't know, the prices keep going up. I guess that's just the nature of life. You know, we raise our prices too every year, but I don't know. I wanted to try something new, and I think Notion is cool. That's the other thing too. I love a good, like, cool new tool to try. So I will be doing more videos. I still do videos on AislePlanner tutorials, just because I know it's the most popular CRM out there for wedding planners, and I do want to help you with it a little bit, as much as I know. And I will do some more tutorials about our Notion portal. I think it'd be fun to like take you really behind the scenes of like, okay, I'm onboarding a client, here's what I'm gonna do, or I'm, planning. Yeah, so I'll take you along if you're curious. But anyway, I'm gonna go watch Severance. I don't know if you guys have watched this show, but it's all over TikTok, and I did not see it on TikTok until we started watching it, like actually watching it. But it's so good. We're on season 2, and it's a freaking mystery. So Severance, highly recommend. If you have not started it, go watch it. Again, I think it's on Apple TV, but we get it through Prime. That's the thing, is now Prime gives you access to Apple TV. So that's where we watch it. Okay, good chatting with you guys. See you next time.